In the quiet years after World War II, when televisions hummed softly and the night sky felt closer than it ever had before, one man looked up at the moon and said something no one else dared to say aloud. "It's mine." Not in poetry, not in metaphor, in ink. While rockets were still dreams on drafting tables, while astronauts were science fiction, this man sat at a wooden desk, flipping through law books that smelled of dust and certainty. Page after page, he searched for a sentence that didn't exist, a clause that forgot to say, "except the heavens." And in that silence, he found opportunity. The moon, he realized, had never been claimed. So he wrote a declaration, he filed it, he mailed copies to governments, embassies, and the United Nations itself. He announced ownership not just of the moon, but of all space beyond Earth's reach. And no one replied. That silence was thunder. In newspaper interviews he spoke calmly, almost gently, as if this were the most reasonable thing in the world. Why shouldn't space be owned if land on Earth was? Why should the stars belong to no one just because no one had thought to ask? Soon, certificates began to appear, ornate documents selling lunar plots to ordinary people. For a few dollars, you could own a piece of the moon, a crater, a ridge, a dream. Buyers laughed at first, then hesitated, then bought anyway. Not because they truly believed, but because they wanted to. The idea spread. It unsettled people. Lawyers scoffed. Scientists rolled their eyes. Governments stayed quiet. Because how do you argue with a claim that lives in a gap no one bothered to close? As the space race ignited, rockets finally clawed toward the sky, and treaties were drafted declaring space the province of all mankind. But by then, the question had already been asked. And once a question exists, it never fully disappears. The man never became rich. He never set foot on the moon he claimed. But he did something rarer. He exposed how fragile ownership really is. That borders are stories we agree to tell each other. That law ends where imagination begins. And that sometimes history isn't moved by armies or astronauts, but by someone bold enough to notice an empty line in the rulebook and sign their name beneath it. If this story made you look up at the moon a little differently, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps the channel grow and keeps these forgotten stories alive.